something just happened here and we gotta figure this out. We gotta get on board. What's going on here, right? So it's like telling Alexa to give you a weather when she... So your brain goes, okay, great, we can conserve energy here. When they wake up, we're just gonna turn on the anxiety so they don't have to work so hard to build up their anxiety. Now think about this. No one just goes from living a happy, blissful life and the next morning they just wake up with terrible anxiety, and it's like that every day. Of course, there is a transition into that, you know? So this is how it works. Your brain, and guys, if this is resonating with you, and a lot of you are like, yeah, this is me, make sure you follow me here, because all of my content is about educating you on how your brain works. Because if you don't know how your brain works, you're just gonna keep feeding this. And this is what I just did a video recently, and I say this all the time. You're either watering the weeds or you're watering the flowers of your emotional garden. And when you don't know how your brain works and you don't know how you're getting yourself stuck in these continued, perpetual, awful cycles and patterns, then you can't help to stop them. But when you know what it is you're participating in that's causing part of the problem, you can absolutely, with full intention, confidently interrupt those patterns and change them. So absolutely, please follow along here. All of my content talks about the function of the brain, why it does what it does. This is usually what I talk about in my lives. So most of the people that are on my lives, you know, they hear it a lot, but I always say, hey, that's great, because your brain learns from repetition, like I just explained. So the more you hear me talk about this, the stronger it gets within your own mind. And the more your brain will start to go, ah, yes, I believe this. This is very familiar to me. I like it. I do want to learn this. I am interested. So your brain, because you're holding time, energy, attention, and focus on what I'm saying for more than 15 seconds at a time, your brain goes, ah, this is significant. Let's move this into long-term storage instead of kicking it out, right? So thank you, user 08. If you guys, this is probably a good time to ask some questions. And guys, if you ask, you know, like, I wake up in the morning, how do I change it? I don't have enough time to go to like break it down, but I can tell you two things. One is, this is what my content is all about. It's all about giving you more control over your thoughts and feelings, understanding how your brain works so you can participate in the process of intentionally changing it. And then two, if you really want personalized help and you want it fast, because you can retrain your own brain, right? However, what I see is that for most people, and this happened to me too, because brain retraining is something that I created. I didn't coin the term, mind you. My program is something I created as a hybridized mix of a lot of different education out there. So not everyone that calls themselves maybe a brain retraining coach, I don't think there are very many out there. They've not exactly taken the courses that I've done. They don't, or they try to talk these things out consciously, but that's not the unconscious mind. So that's why I tell my clients, like, the more you talk about your problems, the stronger they're gonna get. And I'm not saying don't talk about your problems. You do talk about your problems. You just don't do it habitually. You don't constantly complain with no resolution. You don't constantly complain with no solution in mind. You vent, you get the shit off your chest, you pound it out, you let it go, and then you start looking for solution. But it's when we get trapped in the cycle of the emotion and we just get so caught up in the drama of, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm anxious, I'm anxious, I'm anxious. We start identifying with that, and then it becomes a part of who I am. Listen to the words, I am anxious. That is an absolutely identifying statement. This is who I am as a person, as opposed to, I'm now becoming the type of person who's learning to control my anxiety. Look at how much softer and gentler, more gentle that is, right? That from that space, your brain can invite in the idea of changing the anxiety. Whereas before, I'm anxious, I'm anxious, I'm anxious. What are you feeding your brain? This is when you are watering the weeds versus the flowers of your emotional garden. When you're watering the weeds, you are feeding, nourishing, watering the parts of your life you don't like by giving them all of your time, energy, attention, and focus. When you are nourishing and watering the flowers, the things that you want in life, the things that you want to go for, the way you want to think and feel and behave and react, that's what you're giving all of your time, energy, and attention and focus to. But we tend to do it backwards. And that's what's hurting us. And that is what is constantly training our brain, because whatever you give the most attention to amplifies in your brain. Always. This is brain retraining 101.